part 10 of the True or False series, we're going to look at that well-worn chestnut, you've got to take a divot. Particularly if you're looking for backspin, you've got to take a divot. Well, I was reminded of the snooker player Jimmy White, who had tremendous cue power. And I remember seeing Jimmy on many, many occasions screwing the cue ball back, having knocked in the red or the colour, and he produced a huge amount of backspin on the snooker ball. He never ripped the bays. If you do that, you're out of the snooker club. Now on the golf course we do get divots, and the divot will vary according to the shot you're hitting and to an extent to your physique. What's important to understand is that you can play a wedge off the middle of the stance because that's where the base of the arc is, and off hard pan life, if you've ever played a wedge shot off a hard pan or you've hit it perfectly out of a long fairway bunker, then you know that those shots have a huge amount of spin and no downward blow was taken. So let's just have a look at the three clubs, driver, 6-iron and wedge. You'll see that the driver is addressed with the shaft a right angle to the target line, as we know, and the ball position is left heel. My 6-iron, the shaft leans a little bit, and the wedge, the shaft leans even more. As you can see, if I narrow my stance for the wedge, there's the ball in the middle of my feet. You can see shaft lean. Now I think you can see from that that if I take my driver address, the base of the arc is opposite the wedge ball. So the driver is caught on the up, and therefore it's on a T-peg. So at this end of the spectrum, I'd be expecting no divot at all with my driver, and perhaps just a grazing of a few blades of grass with my faux woods and hybrids. And you can see that the shaft is a right angle to the target line. However, I'm going to move the ball position back for the 6-iron, and that means I'll have an element of shaft lean. So you can see that going from driver to 6-iron, the shaft leans, the ball is now left centre, the swing is more upright, so that would tend to give you a slightly more downward blow than the driver. In addition to which, because the shaft is over the ball, that's suggesting a blow in that downward direction. Also, when you have a straight face club, it's like scraping a potato with a knife. It doesn't dig in, it just scrapes. The more the blade lays back, the more it would cut. So with a hybrid or a 3 or 4 iron, just a shaving of grass. But with the shorter shaft, the steeper swing, and more loss on the club, plus the shaft lean, we can imagine putting some pressure on the back of the ball and the ball being hit with a divot. Now again, if you hit the 6-iron properly, the blade is going to find the ball first and the divot after. That's going to be true also with the wedge in just a minute. So you can see now the amount of shaft lean that I've got there was driver. The wedge has a huge amount of shaft lean. I think you can see that the shorter swing and more upright is going to produce a more downward blow. Now again, you don't have to take a divot with the wedge, but if you get one after impact, that's fine. I think to get your disc control, the shallower your angle of attack into all your iron shots, the more consistent your trajectory is going to be. And it's only through good trajectory can you actually control your distances and get the gaps between your clubs exactly right. You don't want some shots ballooning and some shots going low. You want a flat line trajectory in most cases, and then the ball lands. So not going high in the middle of the flight, it's like a bag of 8-irons, but the ball going forward to a high spot, that high spot nearer to the green, and the ball falling out of the sky. So let's just show you those practically. I'll hit you a driver, shaft to right angle, taking my stance. I feel that the ball is well to the left of centre. I'm going to catch this ball slightly on the up because it's teed up for me. Got a nice bit of neutral draw there. Just going to tee the ball down to show you that this shot will come with a slight divot. Now the contact was absolutely perfect in that instance. I can just see a shaving of grass here. I haven't disturbed any earth at all, just the grass. And finally with the wedge, pretty certain with the ball central and the shaft leaning forward that I will on this occasion take a divot. Again, there's a root system in the divot, it's not too steep. We don't want a divot that you can bury the club cat in. We just want a shallow movement through the roots, and then your divots recover more quickly as well. So there we have it. Do we take a divot? Yes, we do. We don't have to. We're not going to see a divot with the driver or the woods. We might with the mid-irons, and we will with the wedges. When hitting a fade spin shot, there'll be more divot than with a draw spin, all things being equal. If you're a tall person, your swing plane might be steeper and create more turf than a shorter person with a shallower plane. So really, according to the circumstances of your body, the club you're using, the shot you're hitting, the divot will be in response to that. The divot doesn't cause the shot, the divot is a symptom of the shot.